Let's see. You got a little. These are not good for you. They are sugar-free, but they keep you vastly awake when you're feeling slightly sleep-deprived. They're also on special too, which I find wonderful. Anyway, how's the stream looking? It says not really great connection, so we shall see. Anyway, looks like it's going pretty good to the actual. Let's turn this off. Looks like it's going pretty good to the actual live stream, restream, I mean, which is always good. And I'm going to try this a little bit of a different way today. So hopefully this all works decently well. I've got a little rig set up here. So we'll see if the car scrapes or not. So, why am I doing another live stream today? Well, I just got out of my welding class. And I gotta say, it was pretty fun. Now, well, the one thing that happened to me was the contact tip we were using wasn't the right size. So 0.03 of an inch thick. The contact tip was for a wider wire, so it wasn't making a good. Welding that tip, welding the coupons, so we could prove to our teacher that we were worthy of actually putting two pieces of metal together. Now, that didn't work out that way for many of us, myself included, because we have to get the mastery of actually making a decent looking bead than any other thing that I have previously done. Give me one sec here, people. I gotta grab something so I don't go crazy. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, coupons. That's what you practice on, which is basically 16 gauge sheet metal. And that allows you to practice your bead. You really can do when you're starting out. You have to learn are valuably important. So heat's generated metal, bad time welding, because you're already dealing with. In order to bad lungs is something that you don't want to do, because that would mean that you're not actually lasting as long as possible. I've been taking the whole Warhammer thing kind of with a grain of salt, learning the lore, the Mechanicum, of course, being the one I'm focusing most on now, because it's so similar to what I'm studying in real life. The fact that I was able to properly get a couple of beads, put a hole into the coupon on accident, and then repair it, and then learn why my repairs weren't working well, really was empowering. Now, I managed to score a couple of the coupons from the school in order to make sure that I can practice, because we only have this class once a week, and the next session is actually a holiday, so I am not going to get to weld. However, my brother-in-law has a little welding rig, I should say. So I'm hoping I can get that, because that would be incredibly useful to have. I need really more equipment in order to be able to do the job that I want to do, and having a welding helmet, I think, would be the best and the first step to ensuring that I am, well, fully equipped and able to continue along the path that I've chosen here, which is the trades. So the signal might get a little bad. We're going to be going through the tube here over by my college. It's always fun to have the tube, go through the tube. Yeah, then we're gonna go on the highway. We might go local. I think we'll go local instead. Yeah, so the one thing that I can say about being in the trades and having to buy equipment is, you know, the equipment allows you to do work directly and get paid for the work that you have. So being able to do DIY projects, take the trails. I mentioned in my stream earlier this morning that I wanted to do like cosplays, and I found a super soaker which I want to start cutting up and actually converting into a bolter. Oh my god. Period. Although I really shouldn't say which city I'm in right now. I don't care. It's not a secret. I'm trying to figure out which city I'm driving through. The whole shebang about the trades is being able to actually do work, real physical work with your hands. It's very similar, in fact, actually, to how artists or any practical skill would translate into a career or money. You get paid directly for the work that you produce. You know, it's highly meritocratic. You got to be good or you're not going to be successful. And I'm part of a loose collective of really fantastic artists, some video makers, Mr. Brushface, GM Dave, The Garbage Man, that's another one. A lot of these people I met off Minds.com, which is slowly becoming my primary site, especially now that Tim Pool has moved over onto Minds, which is the primary way I get my news. I also get a lot of it from Jimmy Dore's show, Philip DeFranco. I'm going to start watching David Pakman. I do watch things that are more on the right as well to make sure that I have a healthy balance, since I grew up very, very, very far to the left and very, very, very far to the left in a very, very far to the left area. So I try to make sure that I get the best and the most information I can. News-wise, a lot of the people I work with happen to be more on the conservative side. So you got to have a very diverse channel of information, so you know what everyone's talking about, so you know and understand where different perspectives might come from, because yeah, that's important to me. Same thing with getting critiques on my work inside of my welding classes or my mechanic classes, you know, making sure that I'm doing things appropriately, because you know, a lot of the procedures that you're doing in regards to trades happen to be just repetition of specific procedures to make sure your work looks consistent. There's an artistic aspect to it, but even if you're, you know, painting a picture, there's some basic techniques you use that you combine together to produce different results, but you still need to know those basic techniques in order to build up the structures you need to produce those consistent results. So in other words, no matter which way you look at it, I'm an industrial artist, and the welding really, really starts to show you how it is structurally, functionally good. So it's not just a matter of aesthetic, it's also a matter of making sure that the weld does the job that it's supposed to do, which is turn two pieces of metal into one piece of metal, as opposed to soldering, which is typically just using a medium to attach two things together in regards to wire that makes sure that there's a current that can flow through. The greatest thing about being in a trade program is that you, or whatever I used to say, kinesthetic learning by doing things physically, is something that I think a lot of people don't get into. If you're a visual learner, things like welding, well, it's muscle memory. It's a lot of that. So you need the kinesthetics. And the teacher that I have is absolutely wonderful, young guy, That's 4 hours straight through, which flies by like nothing. And you think it's a lot, but it really just does not feel adequate enough. So I am really considering because I see the value in it, especially if you're doing something in the automotive trades. I mean, it's a really important thing to do. I mean, I did machining. Machining is important as well, but I see the practical application of the immediateness of repairs that you can do to vehicles by being able to weld. I get it. I get it now, you know? It's really a different way to manipulate metal. Machining is cutting things into shape, while welding is... Like before, I really feel like I am ready and mentally in a place where I'm ready to learn what I need to do in order to be a proper welder, in order to be a proper mechanic, and in order to be a proper metal worker. So as I go along this path, I'm starting to really learn physically what I'd like to do. And I think modeling my whole philosophy after the Mechanicum in Warhammer 40K is kind of like a funny, fun thing to do, you know? I mean, I joke about it. I'm a Scutari, I'm a frigging Magos, I'm a frigging adept of Mars. But the truth is that it is something that is very appealing, you know, the technology aspect. In many ways, we treat our machines like we're living. There's that one commercial that jokes around like, oh, I'm dying here, I'm dying. Well, yeah, I mean, your phone is in many ways an extension of you, spiritual. So are we moving into a realm that's very similar to the Warhammer case and just could plug and play it into other bodies? We have Terminator series, which has flesh-coated androids. We have other things as well. As examples, we have the Warhammer 40K universe, which definitely divides things into more spiritual, technological realms. What Transcendence with Johnny Depp, that's another one that we can say is a little bit more on the spiritual side of technology. You know, it's something that we created and invented in order to improve our lives, and it's gone from just being serious and magical, and you could say has some sort of theistic appeal to it. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. Why I'm like Warhammer so much, and that's why I'm enjoying these welding classes, because I really do feel like I'm actually encapsulating the crazy shit that we see in sci-fi. They're all scientists. They all were capable of doing cool stuff. We remember them being able to manipulate their tricorders and their devices into something that was practical. Jedi build their lightsabers. Traditionally, excuse me, Sith would kind of do something similar. The new bleeding of the kyber crystals is a little weird to me, but I understand it. I get what they're trying to engineer and fix things. They weld them together. And having the experience of going from in an office and thinking this stuff is just magical to physically being able to do it and realizing that it's a skill set I can build on and have fun doing. And I don't need to sit on my ass, get fat, cholesterol, diabetes by eating all that crappy food that you get from the office vending machine, or if you're in San Francisco, from the wonderful, wonderful restaurants that are down there that will fry anything for you, despite the fact that, you know, you get sushi-ritos, which are supposed to be healthier, but, you know, I'm eating all meat. I know the truth behind what works diet-wise for me. It would probably work well for most people, although I don't think there's anything wrong with having a vegan diet. As long as you know, don't die, hey, more power to you. The whole concept of learning, being a hands-on guy, it's just wonderful. you know, and even the hobby of Warhammer itself. You know, you got the building, you got the models, you know, if you're going to Star Wars and you're doing Star Wars Legion, you've got those models. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to get into. And being able to actually get to the larger stuff that we all love, like machines and cars and buildings, that's awesome. This is just the most awesome experience of my life, and I really can't speak more highly. I just wish we were not such stupid morons when it came to education, and we didn't push this college myth. You know, get a degree, go get a job. You know, the degrees are supposed to help you be able to build skills that are marketable. You do need to improve those skills once you get out of school, because it just sets you up for a foundation. And in any college catalog, you'll see it gives you a foundation, over and over, gives you a foundation. We act like you're instantly able to do something amazing the second you get out of school. It's not the case. Maybe in trade school to a degree, but even trade school, you need more experience. You need to be able to do more things in order to gain the experience, learn from your mistakes, and improve upon them. So the wonderful thing about being able to do a trade is it gives you a direct way to get paid. And there's a dearth of jobs. Mike Rose talked about it, even our current president, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm also not hating on, because I don't really care about politics anymore. It's just a bunch of malarkey. I think we have a bigger thing to do with the nerdom wars that are going on with, I guess you could say, identity politics being inserted into places that are sometimes inappropriate for it. Because yes, there are appropriate times to talk about activism and social justice and all that kind of stuff. I do feel that way. I just feel like when it's overwhelmingly the focus of everything, it really takes away from other things that we have to focus on, you know? It's just a very one-sided thing. You gotta make sure that we don't get so caught up in the college myth and this elite academic frigging attitude that we've had for years, which is crippling us, because wages aren't going. People are having a hell of a lot of time finding jobs outside there. CEO's title while you're actually welding, while you're learning something new, and also afterwards. It really is just such a refreshing experience that you feel more connected, more relaxed. It's something that actively works your brain and your body at the same time. And we don't have enough of that. Everything is all in order. And, you know, I think the trades offer a unique opportunity for that. And welding is really, really quickly becoming the thing that I'm loving the most. Anyway, I think this live stream has gone on for long enough. It's the second live stream of the day. It's been actually a really wonderful. And yeah, I really hope to see you guys in my next video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.